And the shloka number 31 explains the rules for naming the child from all the four varnas. It says the first part of a Brahmana's name should denote auspicious, a Kshatriya's power, and a Vaishya's wealth, and a Shudra's. When choosing a wife, he is told to avoid certain families and girls with certain features. Then what kind of girl he should choose? Brahmin man should marry a Brahmin woman and a Kshatriya man should marry a Kshatriya woman. But if they want to marry again, Manusmriti. Let us see what this ancient scripture says. Because I am sure most of us have little knowledge about the content of this scripture, even though the structure of our Indian society is based on it. The legend says it is dictated by Brahma, the Lord, to the first human Manu. That is why it is Manusmriti. In this video, let us briefly look at the content of the 3 chapters, and the remaining 9 chapters we will cover in the next 3 videos. So, without wasting time, let us dive into the actual content of this scripture. Chapter 1. It begins by describing how self-existent divinity becomes Brahma, the Lord, and caused the emergence of the entire universe. How it was done? The Lord divided his own body into half male and half female, and then created 10 great sages, who in turn created 7 of other Manus, gods and great sages. After creating the world, the Lord created 4 varnas: the Brahmana, the Kshatriya, the Vaishya and the Shudra. He made them emerge from different parts of his body: the Brahmana from his mouth, the Kshatriya from his arm, the Vaishya from his thighs, and the Shudra from his feet. Then the Lord assigned duties to each of these varnas. 2 Brahmanas, teaching and studying the Vedas, conducting yajnas or sacrifices for their own and others' benefit, and giving and accepting alms. To the Kshatriyas, protecting the people, bestowing gifts, offering yajnas, studying the Vedas, and abstaining from indulging in sensual pleasures. To the Vaishyas, tending cattle, bestowing gifts, offering yajnas, studying the Vedas, trading, money lending, and cultivating land. And to the Shudras, the Lord assigned only one duty, that of serving the other 3 varnas. Shloka number 93 in this chapter says, as Brahmana sprang from Brahma's mouth, as he was the firstborn, as he possesses the Vedas, he is the Lord of the whole creation. Shloka number 100 says, whatever exists in the world is the property of the Brahmanas. Thus, this chapter establishes the division of humanity into 4 strata in a hierarchical manner and assigns specific duties to each of them. Chapter 2. This chapter outlines rules about samskaras or sacraments for the refinement of male members of the first 3 varnas. Rituals start with conception, then include the events of birth, naming the child, starting school, and then other stages of the man's life from these 3 varnas. When a male child is born into a family belonging to any of these 3 varnas, Shloka number 29 says, a ritual called Ghatakarma must be performed even before his navel string is cut. This child should be fed with gold, honey and butter. And the Shloka number 31 explains the rules for naming the child from all the 4 varnas. It says the first part of a Brahmana's name should denote auspicious, a Kshatriya's power, and a Vaishya's wealth, and a Shudra's contempt. The word used is Juvupsitam. The second part of the name should imply happiness for a Brahmana, protection for a Kshatriya, prosperity for a Vaishya, and service or submission for a Shudra. Rules for other samskaras like Annaprashana or first feeding with rice, Chuda karma or shaving of the head, and Upanayana, initiation or threading ceremony are also given here. For Upanayana, the age brackets prescribed for the Brahmana, it is 8 to 16 years from the date of conception. For Kshatriyas, it is 11 to 22 years, and for Vaishyas, it is 12 to 24 years. During Upanayana, the rules around the kind of garment, thread, and staff used by the boy from each Varna, as well as the details of rituals observed and mantras recited, are explained here. The initiation is the beginning of the student life for the boy. It is his second birth. That's why he is called twice born. Whenever the term twice born is used, it indicates a male member from any of these three varnas. This chapter provides a long list of do's and don'ts for the boy to adhere to during his studentship. He is advised that if he keeps his senses under control, he can achieve any goal without reducing his body by practicing yoga. Chapter 3. It outlines rules for entering wedlock and householder's duties. When a student completes his studies of 3 Vedas or at least one Veda, he is entitled to enter the second order of his life, which is Grihastha-ashrama, which means he is eligible for marriage. When choosing a wife, he is told to avoid certain families and girls with certain features like red hair, red eye, or girls bearing certain names such as the name of a river, the mountain, a bird, etc. Then what kind of girl he should choose? Manusmriti says he should choose a girl who is free from bodily defects and has an agreeable name. She should walk like a swan or an elephant. She should have a moderate quantity of hair on her body and head, and she should have small teeth and soft limbs. Men from all the three twice born varnas are advised to have their first wives from the equal caste, equal varna, which means a Brahmin man should marry a Brahmin woman and a Kshatriya man should marry a Kshatriya woman. But if they want to marry again, they are advised to do so by taking women from other varnas, including Shudras. But when it comes to a Shudra man, he can only marry a Shudra woman. Types of marriage. Manusmriti identifies 8 types of marriage: Brahma Vivaha, Daiva Vivaha, Arsha Vivaha, Prajapatya Vivaha, Asura Vivaha, Gandharva Vivaha, Rakshasa Vivaha, and Paishacha Vivaha. When a decked up girl is gifted by her parents with full honor to a learned groom of good conduct, it is a Brahma Vivaha. When a decked up girl is gifted to a priest who participates in yajna rituals, it is called a Daiva Vivaha. A Rakshasa Vivaha occurs when there is a forcible abduction of the bride. Manusmriti says this type of marriage is approved for Kshatriyas. Manusmriti advocates honorable treatment of women. Shloka 55 in this chapter says, women must be honored and adorned by their fathers, brothers, husbands, and brothers-in-law. One of the most quoted lines we get to hear often is from this chapter, which is, Yatra naryastu pujyante ramante tatra devataha, yatra itastu na pujyante sarvastatrafalaha kriyaha, which means, where women are honored, there the gods are pleased, but where they are not honored, no sacred rite yields rewards. The householder has to observe 5 types of daily yajnas. They are: teaching and studying is the yajna to Brahma. The offering of water and food, called tarpana, is the yajna to Pitrus or deceased ancestors. The burnt oblation is the yajna to the gods. The bali offering is the yajna to the bhutas. and hospitality to guests is the yajna to men. The timing and manners of conducting these yajnas are all explained in this chapter.
In the next video, Chapter 4, Rules for Earning Livelihood by a Brahmana, for Maintaining Relationships, for Accepting Gifts and Food, and Rules for Various Everyday Behavior. Chapter 5, What a Brahmana should and should not eat, why and when should he eat meat, and more. What are the duties of women? Chapter 6, Rules for Life in the Third Order, which is Vanaprastha or forest dwelling.
Share your opinion on this text and please wait for the next video.